Why does it always feel like you're doing everything right, but still going nowhere? Be honest. How many times have you told yourself, I'm trying my best, just to make peace with staying stuck? If you stay with me till the end of this video, you'll uncover something that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. A truth that will either break you or push you to finally break through. If you're ready for real change, not just another motivational quote, this might be the wake-up call you've needed. You see, the reason most people fail isn't because they're unlucky. It's not because they're not smart enough or talented enough. It's because they lie to themselves every single day. That lie sounds like, I'm doing everything I can. But deep down, you know you're not. You know you're cutting corners. You know you're making excuses. You know you could have pushed harder, but you chose comfort instead. You convince yourself that just being busy is the same as being productive. It's not. Running in circles isn't the same as moving forward. But it feels good to say you're trying, doesn't it? It protects your ego. It saves you from feeling like a failure. But the truth, that shield is the very thing that's keeping you from growing. Your mind is built to protect you from pain, from discomfort, from risk. That's how survival works. But success doesn't live in safety. It lives on the edge. It lives in the hard decisions. It lives in the moment when you feel like quitting, but choose to keep going. Most people never get there because they stop the second it hurts. They settle the moment it gets uncomfortable. And that's why they stay average. That's why they stay broke. That's why they stay stuck. They would rather protect their pride than face the truth. But if you're still listening, maybe you're different. Maybe part of you is done lying. Maybe you're ready to look in the mirror and finally admit that you've been holding yourself back. And that takes courage. That's the first step, radical honesty. Without it, nothing changes. You can watch every motivational video, read every book, and post every quote online. But if you keep lying to yourself, nothing will shift. Think about it. When was the last time you were fully honest with yourself? When did you last say, I could have worked harder today, or I wasted too much time, or I avoided that challenge because I was scared? Most people never say that. They'd rather blame their boss, the economy, their past, or anything else. Because the truth hurts. But here's the good news. The truth also frees you. Once you admit you're not giving your all, now you have the power to change. You can't fix what you refuse to face. And the moment you face it, everything becomes possible. This isn't about guilt. It's about responsibility. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to knock on your door and drag you into greatness. This is your battle. And it begins the moment you stop running from the truth. If you're not where you want to be, don't pretend like it's out of your control. Look in the mirror and say, I own this. Because the second you take ownership, you take power. And from there, you can rise. Now, if you're brave enough to keep going, what comes next will show you exactly how to turn that truth into action. Stay with me. The real shift begins now. You've taken the first step by facing the truth. Now it's time to deal with the real enemy, the one living inside your own head. Your mind is not always your friend. It's wired for survival, not success. And survival doesn't require growth. It requires safety. That's why your brain constantly pulls you toward comfort. It whispers, you've done enough. It tells you, you deserve a break. It convinces you, you can do it tomorrow. But that voice is a liar. That voice is the reason you keep hitting the same wall over and over again. Think about how many times your own thoughts have talked you out of progress. You set an alarm to wake up early, but when it rings, your mind says, 5 more minutes. You plan to start a new habit, and your brain responds with, let's just wait for Monday. This isn't laziness. This is biology. Your brain is trying to avoid stress, effort, discomfort. But growth only happens when you override that instinct. When you feel resistance and choose to push anyway. That's the point where change begins. Every time you listen to that voice telling you to slow down, every time you let it win, you reinforce the habit of hesitation. And hesitation kills dreams. Not because you're not capable, but because you're giving power to the wrong voice. The successful people you admire, they feel the same fear, they hear the same doubts, but they don't negotiate with them. They act in spite of them. That's what separates them from the rest. You need to learn to catch that voice when it starts speaking. You need to recognize it, label it, and challenge it. When your mind says, I can't, you need to answer, watch me. When it says, I'm not ready, you need to move anyway. The more you ignore that fear-based voice, the weaker it becomes, and the stronger you get. This is a war between who you are and who you want to become. The battleground is in your thoughts, and the weapon is action. Action is the only thing that shuts that voice down. Not motivation, not waiting for the right mood, just movement. One step, one decision, one uncomfortable moment at a time. When you act, you silence the doubts. When you move, you prove that you're in control, not your fear, not your anxiety, not your excuses. That is how you take back your power. That's how you build momentum. And momentum is everything. It makes the next step easier. It creates a chain reaction. Suddenly, what felt impossible becomes your new normal. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides what to do with them. So stop giving your energy to the voice that wants to keep you small. It will never be quiet. But you can stop listening. The mind is a tool. Use it to build your future, not destroy it. And that starts with one bold decision. Stop obeying your weakness. Start honoring your strength. You already know what needs to be done. Now do it, even if your mind resists. Especially when it resists. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a discipline problem, and it's a hard truth to swallow because motivation feels good. It's exciting. It's the high that makes you believe anything is possible for a moment. But discipline is quiet. It's boring. It's unglamorous. It's waking up when you don't want to. It's showing up when there's no applause. It's doing what you said you would do long after the mood has left. That's the part most people run from. That's the real reason you're stuck. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. It rises in waves and crashes without warning. If you build your life on motivation, you build on something that's not reliable. You'll be strong one day and empty the next. That's why your progress feels like a roller coaster. That's why you start strong and quit early. That's why you keep restarting. Because you're chasing a feeling instead of building a system. You're hoping to be rescued by inspiration instead of rescuing yourself with structure. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for permission. It acts. Discipline is the muscle you train every time you choose effort over ease. Every time you get out of bed when you'd rather sleep. Every time you pick up your goals instead of picking up your phone. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. You think you need to feel ready to act, but it's the opposite. When you act without feeling ready, that's when you grow. Ask yourself, how many times have you waited to feel right before starting? How often have you told yourself, I'll do it when I'm in the mood? That delay is the gap between the life you want and the life you're living. Discipline is what closes that gap. It's not loud, it doesn't shout, but it transforms everything. It creates consistency, and consistency compounds. That's what builds greatness. Not talent, not luck, not bursts of energy, just showing up again and again, no matter what. Here's the truth. Every successful person you see has days where they want to quit, days where they feel unmotivated, but they've trained themselves to keep going. That's the secret. Not magic, not constant passion, just relentless commitment to doing what matters even when it doesn't feel good. Especially when it doesn't feel good, because that's when it counts the most. That's when you're becoming stronger than your excuses. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because you haven't built the habit of discipline. But you can. You can start today. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need the stars to align. You need to decide right now that you're done living based on emotion, that you're done waiting to feel ready, that you're ready to act like the person you say you want to become. Discipline is already inside you, waiting, and the moment you choose it, everything changes. Discipline only matters if you keep going when it gets hard, and that's exactly where most people fall apart. The moment pressure builds, the moment it stops being easy, they pull back. They retreat, they quit. You say you want success, but the second it requires sacrifice, you look for an exit, and that's why you're not getting anywhere, because every time you hit resistance, you surrender. But resistance is not your enemy. It's your test. It's life asking, how bad do you want it? Pain is not punishment. Struggle is not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's the process. The price of greatness is discomfort, and you don't get to skip that part. Every breakthrough is buried beneath hours of work, moments of doubt, and the deep urge to give up. What separates the winners from everyone else isn't talent or luck. It's endurance. The willingness to keep going when everything in you says stop. Growth isn't supposed to feel good. You're stretching, breaking old habits, burning through your limits. That's painful. But it's also powerful, because pain is the signal that something inside you is changing. If it's easy, it's not building you. Comfort doesn't create transformation. Struggle does. That's where the real shift happens. In the moments when you're tired, when you feel like it's not working, when no one's watching or cheering. If you can keep going, then you can do anything. Most people have the ambition, but not the endurance. They chase quick results and instant gratification. And when it doesn't show up fast enough, they assume it's not working. So they stop, they jump to the next thing, and repeat the cycle forever. But if you quit every time it gets hard, you'll never see what's on the other side. You'll never know how close you were. You'll never become who you were meant to be. You say you're tired. You say it's too much. But the truth is, you're not tired of the work. You're tired of starting over. You're tired of quitting and having to rebuild from zero again and again. So stop quitting. Start pushing. Make that your habit. Make persistence your new identity. Because you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Show up when it's ugly. Work when it's messy. Keep going even when you don't feel like it. That's how you become unstoppable. That's how you build something real. You earn strength by lifting what's heavy. You build character by facing what's difficult. You don't find power by avoiding the storm. You find it by walking through it. You don't get better by escaping the hard days. You get better by conquering them. That's how transformation works. You endure. You resist the urge to retreat. And every step forward, even if it's small, rewires your mind to keep going. You've come too far to quit now. You've seen what giving up brings. You've lived the disappointment. So now, do something different. Stay in it. Stay focused. Stay hungry. You're not weak for struggling. You're not broken because it's hard. You're being built. And the ones who are willing to be built, brick by brick, day by day, are the ones who rise. You've been waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting to feel more confident, more ready, more certain. But here's the truth, it's not coming. No magical moment will appear to give you permission. No perfect day will arrive where everything feels just right. That fantasy is the trap. And the longer you sit in it, the further you drift from the life you say you want. You're not stuck because of lack of opportunity. You're stuck because you're hoping something outside of you will change first. You're hoping someone will push you, save you, believe in you more than you believe in yourself. But that's not how change works. That's not how success is built. No one's going to knock on your door and hand you discipline. No one's going to force you to take action. It's on you. And deep down, you already know that. You've been delaying your future with the excuse of timing. But timing doesn't create success. Action does. The people who change their lives don't wait. They don't ask for guarantees. They step forward while they're scared. They move with doubt still in their chest. They take the risk, not because they're sure of the outcome, but because they're sure of who they refuse to be anymore. They're done waiting, done wishing, done hesitating. That's what separates them. Look around. How many people waste their entire lives waiting? Waiting for a new year, a new job, a new relationship, a better moment to begin. And they never do. They live in loops, trapped by hesitation. And before they know it, years are gone, and all they have is regret. That's the cost of waiting. Time you never get back. Potential you never touch. Dreams that never breathe. You were not born to wait. You were born to act, to move, to rise. You already have everything you need to begin. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more clarity. You just need a decision. One real decision. To stop sitting on the sidelines of your own life. To stop waiting for approval, for ease, for certainty. Nothing about growth is certain. Nothing about transformation is comfortable. But you were built for it. You were made to step through fear, not bow to it. To lead yourself, not wait to be led. This moment right now, it's not perfect, but it's powerful because it's real, because it's yours. What you do with it will shape the next chapter of your life. You can keep waiting for a better one, or you can write it yourself. Take the step, even if it's small, even if it's messy. Forward is forward. Action creates clarity. Movement builds momentum. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. And then the next. It's time to stop lying to yourself. Time to stop letting your mind win. Time to stop depending on fleeting motivation. Time to stop quitting when it gets hard. And most of all, it's time to stop waiting. Nothing is coming to save you. But you can save yourself right now with one decision. You're not failing because you're broken. You're failing because you're not moving. And the second you do, everything begins to change.